So I bumped into a lady the other day, and she did not like that I was working my horses for a living. And actually, a very small percentage of people are that way. The vast majority of people actually think it's kind of cool, and there's a very small percentage that have a problem with it. And so I talked to this lady, and she was great. She was fine. Um, Disconnecting everything. But I asked her, so my horses shouldn't work for a living. No. Well, should I work for a living? And of course, the usual answer, well, you have a choice. They have no choice. The usual. It's like, bad argument, guys. They fall for it every time. So, it's like, well, should I have to work? You have a choice. Like I just said, you have a choice, you dumb redneck. It's like, what choice? You see the light bulb slowly starting to flicker a little bit. and so it's like, should I try to finagle some paperwork, get the U.S. government to pay for me to sit on my butt and be a spoiled brat? And anyway, like, no. And it's like, well, I mean, what choice do I have then? And so that's one thing these people don't value. It seems like definitely they don't value the efforts of their fellow man or even of themselves, really. They esteem the horse above all people. And it's like, and talking to them, it's like, but these people are the type of people that have no compassion for their fellow man. It's like, if the power goes out in the afternoon when they want to watch Netflix and it's storming, they're like, they want you to, a lineman, to go out, risk their life, deal with heights, electricity, rain, storm in the dark, so they can watch Netflix and be a little bit more comfortable. It's like, well, what if my horses could do that? Well, my horses would go and risk their life so you could watch Netflix. Should they do that? No. But the alignment just can't happen fast enough or quick enough, and the power never should have gone in the first place. Roofers, that's just a dumb redneck job that I don't value efforts or labor of manual labor. So that's just a dumb redneck job. Yeah, until your house gets wet, all your lawns get wet, and then you'll see pretty quickly just how valuable it is. And so therein lies the problem. How can you not, when you don't appreciate your fellow man, don't feel their pain, don't want them to be successful, all they want is something cheaper, faster, no compassion. It's like, when someone comes to your house to do work or something, all they want is the cheapest, fastest, best job done, and no appreciation for that person. No, like, I want you to be successful. I want you to make enough money today so you can go home with your family, your wife and kids, and not have to go and work a second job. Like, I want you to live a good, healthy, balanced life. There's none of that. How can you not have compassion if you don't have compassion for your fellow man that feels things the way you feel, see things the way you see, for your own kind? How can you have compassion for something that isn't your own kind? These horses don't see things the way you see them. They don't feel what you feel. They have feelings. They see things a certain way, but you have to translate that to understand that and make an accurate call. But if you cannot make an accurate call, if you cannot appreciate the tower workers to make this communication right here possible, if you cannot appreciate them going up 1,000, 2,000 feet building these towers, they have to take off their wedding rings and everything, so when they climb up and put these antennas up and whatnot, it doesn't get hot and burn them because the radiation is so strong. We don't value manual labor. If you can't value manual labor and the importance of it in our society, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a bridge builder, if you're a maintenance worker at a hospital, when the lights go out or something goes wrong at the hospital and the ER room, they're saving people's lives, and that backup system comes on perfectly. Who's more important, the doctor or the people that maintain and keep everything in working order? You know, the oxygen, it's just crazy, guys. You just messed up the perfect film. Darn it.
I'm sorry.
So, anyway, guys, the point I'm trying to make here is if you are dealing with someone, if someone is so messed up that they cannot value or care for their own kind, they probably have a warped sense of what the animal actually is, what's actually good for the animal. And I think a lot of it stems from we've bought into this life ourselves. We can see where someone wins the lottery, their chance of suicide goes up tremendously. We have this idea of this utopia that if we have millions of dollars in the bank account or we don't have to work again, that we'll be happy. And that simply isn't true. Working out with a purpose and with a point and meaning and having a meaningful life is something that's really important. And the same is true for horses. But just like there's overworking man or there's underworking man, we see people that don't work at all, and we see a lot of times bad things come of that. But we also see a lot of people around, you know, a lot of us have to work nonstop and don't have time for their community, for their family, for their friends, for their kids, you know. And so if we can't see that, engage with a good or having feelings or care for that, if you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have any care for that, or like, hey, when you come and do work at my house, I want you to be successful. I want you to make money today, and you can take home a good a reasonable, not too much and not too little, a reasonable profit margin, and you can get rest. You can have a day off. You don't have to work 7 days a week. We need to be able to gauge that with each other first before, you know, if you can't do that, you have no business talking to me about my animals and what's a reasonable workload or what is a good life, because you can't gauge that for yourself. I mean, if you're eating McDonald's and Twinkies and going working inside a cubicle, look, let me tell you something. You need to open your eyes up and not feel sorry for my horses, because they're living a much better life than what you are. Let me tell you. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it. One more thing I want to mention, guys. I pray over my horses, and I don't want to be so prideful that, you know, when someone comes against you with, you know, a nut job comes against you with some bullshit, I don't want to be so prideful that I don't actually just stop and say, am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing something differently? And, you know, I want to do a good job with my horses all the way from the beginning to end and have a good balance. And so I'm thinking about this one time. I went to this event, and there was this guy. He was a horrible teamster. I mean, I'm there with my horses and everything, and I know this is years ago. I know I'm young. I don't know anything, but I can see that I can smoke this guy. I'm gonna grab his animals' heads, and some of us can grab the other animal's head, and I mean, he can't do. I mean, it's bad, you know. And he's going around telling everybody. There's one piece on his harness, one piece on his harness. And everybody should have it. And of course, he's like the only guy there with that type of piece on the harness. I'm thinking to myself, man, you're an idiot. Man, I can't learn anything from, you know, whatever. You know. Well, Airsworth, who has a really cool YouTube channel, he shows this piece, and he explains why it's better than the gear I've been using, or this one piece of it. So for all these years, I could have been doing something a little bit better, but I was too prideful to hear it from this idiot. So my point is, sometimes even idiots can be right, and try not to be too prideful where you can't think and hear it and think through something and ask yourself, you know, could this be better? Or am I doing something wrong? Or could I be doing something better? That can really pay off dividends in the end. Anyway, guys, y'all take care and have a fantastic one.